Hey, welcome back. This is Daryl, co-founder of Yokel Local Internet Marketing, and I hope you're getting some value out of this little short impromptu series. I mean, literally, I was eating lunch here in the office and just was reading some questions, and I just felt like it was on my heart to just sit down and just give you this quick little session. And I broke it up in some chunks so you didn't have to take it all in one long video. So we're at the point now where we want to talk. We just talked about 96% of people hitting your website and not converting into a lead. So this is where the scalability and the ROI comes from. When I hear from business owners that we're not getting any ROI in our marketing, or we're not getting the return we thought we were going to get when we did Google AdWords or Facebook or SEO or whatever the case is, 9.5 times out of 10 when we evaluate a client and we start building new strategy, this is the piece that's missing. So if we understand and accept that not everyone's going to buy when they hit your website, then that means what are we going to do with the other 96 out of 100 who are not going to buy today but are going to buy in 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 months, 18 months, 24 months. And this is what's mostly missing, and it's called automated lead nurturing. But before we get into automated lead nurturing, by the way, automated lead nurturing, email marketing, email follow-up, drip campaigns, any of those dialogues that you may be familiar with. But before we can get someone in a drip campaign, we have to have something that was enticing them to give us their email address, right? So if there was nothing enticing to give them our email address other than a contact form or a free consultation form, then we're pretty much not going to have any leads, right? So in the mortgage industry, when I was in the field for years, I was in the industry for 13 years, a buyer who was in the military, who was transferring to our city, he might be 9 or 10 months out before he was going to land here at our Air Force Base. If I'm working with a first-time home buyer back then, husband and wife were having a baby, maybe they already had one child and now they're in a condo and they need to move to a 3-bedroom house, but the baby's not due for 9 months or 8 months or 7 months. They don't need to buy the house right now. What do I do to get them to share their information with me so that I can stay in touch with them and build a relationship and develop credibility with them so that I am the particular provider of service that they would go with down the road? Well, in the video we just talked about, we talked about the lack of other ways for a visitor or a potential customer to engage your business. And what we talk about is having content on your website that will allow your visitor to get their questions answered. And perhaps for the sake of the video and making it short and sweet, let's go back to the mortgage example. One of the mortgage big questions in people's heads back when I was in the business had to do with whether they're, what type of credit they needed to have and how much down payment they needed to have, and could they buy a car and all these other types of things. So what we would do is package that information into a document, a free report, they call them ebooks now, a presentation, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. But if we know that that's the question in their head, we would set up a page that says, 7 things you must understand or must do to make sure your home loan goes through. And I'm just making up a headline on the fly. And they would click a button on our website and go over to a page. We call them landing pages, capture pages, whatever you want to call them. You've seen them. You've put your name on these forms before. And you download a free report. Now that report is something then that we're giving them a value that speaks directly to their situation, and then we're getting back an email address. Now, there are right and wrong ways to do lead nurturing or automated email or drip email. Well, the right way to do it is if you've done your buyer persona work properly, like we talked about a few videos ago, and if you've done your buyer persona work right, then you're going to know the most pressing questions on their mind as they journey through the process. So if you've done that properly, you're going to then be able to build out an automated email sequence process over a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month period of time that speaks directly to your buyer persona, your target customer, and the pressing questions they have on their mind. See, your customer, whether they tell you or not, they have 3, 4, 5 questions in their mind. Whatever regarding your product or service, something's keeping them up at night, something they're afraid of, something they want to accomplish, something they're nervous about. These are the things that are going on in their head. And if you as a professional can, through your website and through automation, through the internet, speak to those questions, speak to those concerns, and make them feel as though you're the trusted advisor. See, that's a key phrase. I learned this years and years ago that it didn't matter if you bought from me today. I want to become the trusted resource in your life that you can count on. And guess what? And if you decided to go do business with the guy down the street, oh well. If you decided that you weren't going to do anything and buy a product or service of mine at all, that's fine too. But through the process of lead nurturing and building a relationship with your prospects over the long run, and we're talking about the 96 out of the 100, because the 4 you had an opportunity to sell. Well, we're talking about the rest of the buyers that didn't convert that day on your website on one of your main forms. This is the way to scale and optimize your marketing for best results. So we're going to wrap this video up here, but we're talking about automated lead nurturing. As people come down your sales funnel and get closer to the buying decision, this is something that is most critical to have in place in your marketing strategy. Again, it's not just email marketing. It's understanding who your buyer is, buyer persona, how they journey through the process of buying your product or service, right? If I have a water heater, my water heater goes out, I need a product right away. If I am thinking about upgrading my air conditioner to a high efficiency air conditioning unit, I don't have to make that decision right away. Plus it's $10,000 or $12,000, whatever it might be. I'm going to take some time to journey through that process a little bit differently. So I hope this is bringing some context to you. And a lot of companies use email and just do it the wrong way. They dump all their names into some email provider, and then they start blasting about their product and service. They start blasting coupons. They start blasting, hey, 50% off if you act this way or that way or act now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about brand new visitors who we've attracted to your website and figured out, and we understand that if 4% of them are possibly interested in buying today, but a good portion of the 96% that are left are interested in buying, just not today, then that's where this part of the strategy fits in. And if you're not doing that today, you really want to take a step back, because that's probably where you're having problems with any of the tactics, whether it's Facebook, Google, SEO. It doesn't really matter the tactic, because the tactic is just a tactic, right? There has to be a strategy that goes with that tactic. So we're going to go on to the next video. I hope this one has been of value. And again, play these videos over and over again. I'm just roughly talking here, sitting in our conference room, and hopefully you're getting some value. But either way, I'll see you in the video. We just got a couple more to wrap up.